How's it going, everybody? ChaoticMeatball here, and welcome back to yet another Pokemon Challenge video. This time, I'm actually doing something new for the channel. My buddy Damo made a patch for Pokemon X and Y to allow me to play the game without gaining any EXP. Well, sort of. You see, Pokemon X and Y have to have the game register at least 1 EXP gained per battle in order for it not to crash based on the tools he had. So this is basically the closest to no EXP we can really get to with our current technology. Either way, let's get into the rules of the challenge. Rule 1, no items in battle. Rule 2, no glitches. Rule 3, battles are all on set, which means I can't shift in between every trainer Pokemon, which makes it a bit more difficult. And rule number 4, we can catch anything we want to, but we can't excessively grind to take advantage of the 1 EXP yielded per battle. But we are allowed to use super training to EV train without the need of levels. Lastly, we can also use the limited rare candies laid out by the developers, but we cannot use pickup for them, or else that would make the challenge obsolete. Anyway, let's get into it. So I started with Fennekin because I knew it wasn't going to be useful for very long. And I figured a fire type was going to help me get through the Santalune Forest, and so that it can possibly be used to resist the first gym and get a burn off on one of Viola's Pokemon, but I don't know. Also, I did this challenge live here on YouTube, which I'll be probably doing a little bit more often. In fact, while we're here, I also have a patch for Omega Ruby and Ultra Sun no EXP, so if you go into the description, you can vote on the straw poll for which one I do next. Anyway, I didn't catch any new Pokemon until Route 3, as I figured it would be a waste of Pokeballs to grab anything before then. I needed to grab a Bidoof, a Azurill, and Pikachu so that I'd be able to take out the single trainer that was blocking off the grass on Route 22, the best place for me to grab Pokemon right now since they're the highest level before the first gym. I grabbed myself a level 7 Dunsparce, a level 6 Litleo, a level 6 Bunnelby, and a level 6 Bidoof. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, man, that's going to be hard to take down a level 10 and a level 12, but actually it's not bad at all. Right here in Santalune City, I'm able to trade my Bunnelby for a level 10 Farfetch that has Aerial Ace, basically making it the key to winning this battle. After taking out Viola's trainers, it's already time to take her down within less than an hour of in-game time. Gotta say, that's kinda crazy how you can literally get to the first gym within that similar reasonable amount of time compared to a game that came out in 1996 on the Game Boy. Viola leads with a Surskit as I lead with Farfetch'd, going for Aerial Ace, but she goes for Quick Attack, doing minimal damage before I one-shot it, leading to Vivillon. It uses Harden, meaning Aerial Ace is now a 4-shot. I decided to use Leers just so I could make it a 3-shot again, defeating her without needing to use any other Pokemon. With the Bug Badge in tow, it's time for the least interesting paced part of a Pokemon game. Seriously, why is there such a long gap between gyms 1 and 2, but not between every other gym in this game? I would have liked the longer pacing since it would have given us a longer game and more small pieces of story like the Parfum Palace. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to dog on this game, but I do wish it was better since it really had the potential to be as good, if not better than Black 2 and White 2, but I digress. I was actually able to lean on Farfetch for Route 4, since there weren't many required trainers, and there really wasn't anything worth catching here that was strong, though I did grab a Bidoof for a battle coming up pretty soon. This led me to Lumio City, and that means I have to fight Professor Sycamore so that I can get myself a Kanto starter. Luckily, he leads with Bulbasaur, so that's an easy one-shot with Aerial Ace on Farfetch, leading to Squirtle. I wanted to have a safe switch over to Budew, so I swapped for Fennekin, allowed it to get KO'd just so I could send it out. I just spammed Absorb, basically undoing most of his damage as I kept whittling down his health, eventually taking him out before he sent out Charmander. I don't really have a response to fire types right now, so I kept in with Budew and attempted to use Water Sport to lower the power of fire type moves, but he outsped and KO'd, leading me to send out Bidoof. It only has Tackle and Growl, so I just spammed Tackle for a few turns before he took me down, barely doing under half health. Next I sent out Dunsparce, who I realized had Rollout, allowing me to finish it in 2 more shots, winning the battle. Not bad, I wish I kinda realized that Dunsparce had that though. But having a diverse team, even if it's under-leveled, really helps. Also, for some reason, the Citra emulator doesn't like some of the textures in X and Y, so it's just a black screen. Squirtle, are you guys okay in there? That's a pretty big void there. Anyway, I replaced Fennekin since it's the lowest level Pokemon on my team, meaning that our original starter is no longer useful for the rest of the run. So, after getting a pep talk from Sycamore himself, it's time to head out on Route 5. There's no required trainers before the grass, so I took the liberty to capture a Furfrou for a decent tank before continuing. After a required double battle, Tierno wants to challenge me, only with a level 12 Corefish, which I used Farfetch to take down pretty easily. Gotta try harder, Tierno, it's not that hard to be a trainer. I can do it without even training. Before heading to the next area, I also grabbed a level 10 Gulpin, as well as a Skiddo, since it's about time I replace my single-digit level things like Bidoof. After arriving in Camp Rear, I'm halted by a big ol' Snorlax, meaning I have to go get the Pokeflute. So, I do so, grabbing a few new Pokemon including Audino, Honedge, Esper, Kecleon, and Oddish, before getting the Pokeflute and moving on to capture Snorlax, since it's level 15, stronger than anything else I have on my team, and a better tank than Furfrou or Audino. I guess I'm catching way too many Pokemon for my own good. Oh well. After 2 short double battles against Tierno and Trevor, as well as some painters, I'm able to pass through Route 7 and move into the connecting cave, where I'm able to swap out some more party members for a level 14 Meditite and a level 14 Axew, who has access to Dragon Rage, an amazing move for this part of the game for sure. I believe it'll be useful until we get to the second gym, in which case, by that point, it'll be underleveled. After emerging, I caught an Absol here on Route 8, but I got swept with a trainer with a level 19 Axew. Guess Dragon Rage came back to bite me. I gotta be more prepared. Luckily, it was an optional trainer, so I was able to walk by him, allowing me to capture an Inkay before arriving in Ambrat Town. I can't really go on from here, so I had to take the detour over to Route 9, and yeah, I hate this route. Anyway, I made sure to capture a Hippopotas, potentially something useful against the next gym leader who uses rock types. Glittering Cave also has quite a few interesting things for me to capture, such as Machop, Lunatone, and Kangaskhan. In the back of the cave, there's a few Team Flare Grunts I took out, allowing me to grab the Sail Fossil. I know if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. It feels so good to be the first person to pull that off in a Gen 6 challenge video. I'm able to spend some time using Rock Smash so that I can get an old Amber as well, which I'm able to revive in Ambrat Town for a level 20 Aerodactyl. Before leaving, I made sure to grab the Leaf Stone on Route 8 for later, as well as trading a Love Disc, which I fished up on lower Route 8 for a Steelix. Yeah, that's definitely going to be useful, since that's almost on par for the next gym, and we haven't even gotten to Solage City yet. That's literally the biggest strat of the run. Just get stuff that can hit consistently, and take hits just as consistently. Admittedly, I could have revived the Sail Fossil that I grabbed in the cave, but I figured it wouldn't be very useful for Grant himself. Instead, I got to Solage City, grabbed the bicycle, and went up to Route 10 since it's available before you fight Grant, so I made sure to grab a Hawlucha and Golett so that I could do some massive damage. So, after taking out his required trainers, it's time to take him down. He leads with Amara, which is a Rock-Ice type, but then I realized once I went into battle that Hawlucha doesn't have any fighting type moves, and Amara's Refrigerate makes Takedown an Ice type move, so I just swapped in Machop, taking it down with a low sweep after it missed a takedown. Next out is Tyron, and it outsped with Stomp, doing about 75% before I hit it with low sweep, getting taken down next turn. Lunatone did a number on it as well, since I made sure to use Hypnosis, and I got a few confusions off before sending out Golett, using a Shadow Punch before going down. Unfortunately, he has a Hyper Potion. At the second gym! That's overkill. Just use a Super Potion. Oh well. This caused me to lose the battle, but the next battle was much better, since I gave a few things Rock Smash before taking him on again. Almost one-shotting Amara with Hawlucha before he used Takedown, barely not KOing before I sent out Aerodactyl. He used the Hyper Potion, so I went for Rock Smash, KOing after outspeeding. Good, that wastes his Hyper Potion, and gets Tyrant out next. I used another Rock Smash, but got KO'd by Rock Tomb before sending out Machop. Stomp does around the same amount that it did last time, but I got off a low sweep before sending in Lunatone, using Hypnosis before using Confusion, KOing after 2 of them, winning me the Cliff Badge. Sweet! 2 badges down, 6 and the league to go. I grabbed myself a Houndour on Route 10 before running through the Team Flare Grunts leading to Geosenge Town. I dealt with a few story beats before running into Karina and fighting her. She leads with the first Lucario, which doesn't do too much damage to my Hawlucha, so I used Rock Smash and used Encore to lock it into Metal Sound before KOing, leading to the second Lucario. I got a critical Rock Smash, and then I encored into Feint, using Roost twice to get my HP back, before using Rock Smash twice more to KO. Sweet! Can I have the Rumble Badge? No! Why not? I beat you, a gym leader! Either way, I ran into an optional trainer by accident on Route 11, having to take down a level 28 Mienfoo with things that were barely over level 20, or below, managing to KO with Hawlucha, Lunatone, and Golett before going back to heal and getting into Reflection Cave. There's a few required trainers in here, so I need to capture some new stuff so that I have some higher levels. After teaching Cut, I made sure to grab a Sock, as well as grabbing a Thunderstone before going into the cave. The cave also has some good Pokemon for me to grab, such as Carbink and Wobbuffet, before fighting the first required trainer. He only has a Linoone though, so Hawlucha managed to take care of it, grabbing a Mr. Mime before taking on the rest of the required trainers, emerging on the other side and into Shallor City. I actually grabbed the Soothe Bell here so that I could make Return a decent move for just about everything I picked up. Shallor is also home to Mega Evolution, so I'm gonna have to fight Serena first to see who gets the Mega Ring. She leads with Meowstic as I lead with Golett, going for Shadow Punch as she does minimal damage with Disarming Voice. Psybeam does a lot, barely not KOing as I use one more before going down. I sent out Aerodactyl next so that I could use Bite to hopefully KO, but Meowstic outspeeds my fastest Pokemon. Unfortunately for her, I survive with barely over half, KOing with 2 bites. Next out is Frogadier, and it uses Quick Attack to finish off Aerodactyl, making me send in Mr. Mime, who's completely useless. It literally has Psywave, dual screens, and Return with no friendship. Yikes. It goes down quickly, leading to me going into Carbink, going for Smackdown, since he decides Quick Attack is a good attack to use against a Rock type. She goes for Water Pulse, but then goes for Quick Attack again and again. I really don't understand the logic here. She literally uses it so much that I'm able to KO with +1 attack thanks to Sharpen. Even Absol is going for Quick Attack, allowing me to get 2 Smackdowns before she KOs with Bite, outspeeding. Why go for Quick Attack if you're gonna outspeed and have a move that's neutral rather than not very effective? Come on, X and Y AI. Next out of mine is Hawlucha, where I get a crit with Rock Smash as she finishes it, leaving just my Steelix. Luckily, it has nothing to counter me, so I KO with Gyro Ball, winning me the match. I didn't expect to see a level 30 on her team this early, so maybe this challenge is going to start ramping up soon. The next step in Mastery is defeating Karina for the Rumble Badge, so after beating her trainers to clear a path to her, I skate my way over after healing, ready to begin. She leads with Mienfoo as I go for Golett for that nice Ghost typing, going for 3 Iron defenses in case of any of her Pokemon having physical Dark or Ghost moves, allowing me to just wail on Mienfoo with Shadow Punch, unable to attack and wasting a Hyper Potion. I go for Rollout, allowing all 5 attacks to connect, KOing Mienfoo and leading to Machoke. It goes for Leer as I just keep going for Shadow Punch, taking down my Iron defenses, so I just kept alternating since she can only lower my defense by 1 stage per turn, effectively negating 2 of her turns with 1 of my own. She wastes another Hyper Potion, allowing me to just keep using the strategy until she goes down, since it literally has nothing it can touch me with. It's a shame that Golett doesn't have an attack boosting move, or else this fight would have been over much quicker. Last out is Hawlucha, so I just went for Rollout, hoping to take advantage of that neutrality for the KO. She wastes all of her turns with Hone Claws, setting up 5 of them as I KO. Literally, what? Why? Why would you do that? Oh well, the Rumble Badge is mine, I don't care. Also, where are your Lucarios? Oh, they're up here, that's where. And one of them wants to go with me, with a Mega Stone? Well, how could I ever pass that up? After the tutorial battle with Mega Evolution, we receive a completely free level 32 Lucario, as well as the TM for Low Sweep on my way out. And on the next route, we receive a completely free level 30 Lapras. Yeah, 2 gift Pokemon back to back. I guess I know what we'll be relying on for a little while now. Route 12 also has a few neat Pokemon for me to sub into my team, such as Chatot, getting those before taking on the trainers of this route and arriving in Kumari and Zeddy. Serena wants a battle in front of the gym, so I take the tram over, running into Diantha and Sycamore and getting Fly before doing so. That was a really short gap between gyms 3 and 4. See what I'm talking about with pacing? Either way, it's time for another major battle. Serena leads with Meowstic again, in fact she has the same team except with a few more levels. Luckily this time, I have both Lapras and Lucario, so it's a bit more even. I also got the leftovers on the last route, so I put them on Lapras so that it can tank even more, KOing after a Rain Dance boosted Surf as well as a crit. Next out is Absol, who uses Slash, but it doesn't stand a chance against my Lapras, since I then get a crit with Water Pulse before the rain goes away, leaving just her Frogadier. Luckily, I have Body Slam, so I just sit out her quick attacks, KOing after 3 of them. I am so happy we got these gifts, they are so good. I don't see myself swapping them out for a little while, I don't think. Before taking on the gym though, I made sure to go capture a few things on Route 13, specifically a Dugtrio and Slugma from Rock Smash, since the next gym leader is a Grass-type user. He's already available, so after taking out his required trainers, I went ahead and challenged Ramos. I will say I lost the first time to his Go-Goat, thinking he was part normal type, since I could have sworn that line was normal grass, but I guess I was proved wrong. I guess the Mandela effect gets all of us, since I seriously remember when I saw it announced, I called it Deerling 2.0. Anyway, Ramos leads with a Lucario as I lead with Chatot. Chatot's got Sing, so I landed it, allowing me to switch out into Lucario, which lets me Mega Evolve and get 2 Swords Dances off without it even waking up. I decided to go for Power Up Punch to get my last 2 stages, KOing with 2 hits and maxing out my attack for the rest of the battle. Next out is Go-Goat, and it's a one-shot with Power Up Punch, leading to his last Pokemon, Weepinbell. I went for Bone Rush since it's part Poison type, KOing in one shot with a 2-hit combo. And with that, I obtained the Plant Badge, and as well as the TM for Grass Knot, which I'm sure will be useful at some point. I went back over to Route 13 to take care of the Team Flare Power Plant takeover, grabbing a Gibble before going in. The crazy thing though is that they're starting to get over the level of my Lucario already, meaning I'm gonna have to do some more team revamp soon so that I could have some stuff to tank some hits. Chatot is great for helping by putting stuff to sleep with Sing and allowing me to sleep with Lucario. I just wish that I had something higher level that had the same purpose. Even one of the admins has a level 36 Houndoom, which luckily was easy enough to take down with 2 Water Pulses with Lapras, leaving just the Scientist. She only has a Mightyena, but it's seriously level 38, so I just used Body Slam, getting her paralyzed before she used Roar, literally leading into Lucario so that I could Mega Evolve and do insane damage with Power Up Punch. Sadly, she decided that Scary Face was the right move for the situation, thinking it would outspeed, even though she's paralyzed. But I KO'd with another Power Up Punch. Whoops. And with that, I'm able to get back to the Lumio City and take care of the gym now that the power is back on. Again, pacing is kinda bad. Either way, I ran through his gym trainers, somehow getting stumped on what silhouette was a Panpour and fighting some accidental trainers, but it wasn't that big of a deal, allowing me to get to Clement without too many difficulties. I will say though that Lapras just isn't cutting it in this battle thanks to weakness, so I'm gonna have to go with Lucario. Before going in though, I made sure to capture myself a Graveler on Route 13, since that ground typing is going to be super necessary for immunity to electric types, and that rock typing will help against resisting normal type moves. And there's a rare candy here, so why not? I came into the battle with a pretty good strategy, so I managed to win on my second attempt, which seems to be a pattern with most major battles in this run. Clement leads with Emolga as I go with Chatot for an attempt of Sing, but Volt Switch managed his to KO, leading him to switch for Magneton. So I went into Dugtrio and used Bulldoze twice to KO after he set up Electric Terrain. Next out is Heliolisk, and he used Quick Attack, nailing it twice after I used Bulldoze, getting 3 off and nullifying the Electric Terrain due to him using a Hyper Potion. I figured that sending out Lucario was my best bet from here, so I Mega Evolved and used a Swords Dance, figuring I'd survive anything it throws at me, including a Thunderbolt. He's -3 in speed, so I finish off with Power Up Punch, leaving just Emolga. It did half with Power Up Punch, but it was KO'd, so I went into Golett due to it being part Ground type. Sadly, she got off a critical Aerial Ace, so I went into Lapras, using Surface a last-ditch effort to KO, managing to do so after he landed a Volt Switch. That was kinda close. I probably should have brought Graveler rather than Chatot because it was so underleveled for this fight, but hey, I still won. After getting a Hollow Clip and meeting Lysander, it's time to go out to Route 14 and another rival battle against Serena. She leads again with Meowstic, still without a new Pokemon on her team. I lead with Chatot to get off a Sing, managing to get one because she used Light Screen, allowing me to switch into Lucario, Mega Evolve, and use Swords Dance before going for Bone Rush on the next turn. She woke up using Disarming Voice, so I figured I'd go for another Swords Dance because I needed more power, living a Psychic and KOing after another Bone Rush. Next up is Absol, which is a one-shot with Power Up Punch, as is Greninja due to being part Dark type now. Easy, and very helpful now that she has 2 Dark types. Luckily, I have some very good Pokemon I can catch here, and match up level-wise with Lapras and Lucario, such as Weepinbell, which I use my Leaf Stone on to get a Victory Bell, as well as a Quagsire who has Yawn so I can replace Chatot, as well as a Stunfisk. After that, I ran through it and got to Lavera City as fast as possible, avoiding basically every trainer I could so I could get to the 6th gym. No one in the gym is actually required, since it's basically a 3D version of Sabrina's gym from Kanto. I didn't realize how much they actually lifted from Kanto in X and Y. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't noticed it until now. Funnily enough, I managed to win this battle on the 2nd attempt. I guess this is really what we're looking at for this challenge. Also, is it just me, or does Valerie look really creepy? Comment down below if you think she looks extremely creepy. Those eyes, they scare me. Anyway, she leads with Mawile, who outspeeds my Quagsire, but I managed to put it to sleep with Yawn, using Mud Bomb before switching out to Lucario, Mega Evolving, and using Swords Dance, using another one before Mawile woke up. I maxed out, going for Power Up Punch for the KO. I probably should have used 2 so that I could get the Power Up Punch plus 1, but that's fine. I didn't really take that much damage because of it anyway. Next out is Mr. Mime, and since I taught Lucario Strength before this fight, I managed to KO in one shot, leaving to Sylveon. I barely didn't one-shot, leading to me going out to Quagsire and using Yawn since I knew she would go for a Hyper Potion. I went for 3 Amnesias so I could wall it, then started going for Mud Bomb so I could lower its accuracy, using Yawn again and putting it back to sleep before I go down, getting another accuracy drop. But it busts out Swift, which makes me a little bit worried. Next I sent out Stunfisk, going for Discharge and getting the Paralysis, then going for Mud Bomb to lower more accuracy, getting her to use yet another Hyper Potion, so I just started going for Discharge, getting a bunch of misses and Paralysis activations, allowing me to nearly KO before Stunfisk went down, leading me to send out Lapras to clean up the KO with Surf. Man, level 42, that's pretty high and pretty worrisome for what I have so far. I really need to get to xerneas so I can just run through the rest of the game, since EV training it and special attack and speed is going to be key to winning this challenge. Next up is getting to Anastar City, and to do that, we first need to clear out the Pokeball factory of a bunch of nerds. Yeah, Team Flare are just a bunch of nerds who don't know what they're doing or serving. At least that's what I figured out. There's nothing really interesting here other than a double battle with the 2 Team Flare scientists who are here, who use a Liepard and Manectric, both of which are at level 41. Lapras paralyzes the Liepard with a Body Slam before it went down, so at least it did something useful. So I sent out Stunfisk to finish off the Manectric as Serena's Absol attempted to finish off Liepard. But because Serena is incompetent, she needs her Greninja to do so. I attempted to make her white out with Discharge, but she somehow outsmarted me with the 1 Brain Cell that she had and used Quick Attack to KO Liepard. Anyway, I got the Master Ball, and since there's only 1 Legendary before the post-game, I know for sure what I'm using it on. Anyway, after that little distraction, I got my bum over to Route 15, where there's a few things I want, those being Klefki, Pawniard, Watchog, and Mightyena. I figured the Steel types should help me a bit with the next gym, and Mightyena is a solid evolved Pokemon that I can at least find some sort of use for. Watchog really wasn't that good of a choice due to having an underwhelming moveset, so I basically cast it aside. After arriving in Dendemil Town, I moved up to the Frost Cavern, which is an area full of really good Pokemon such as Bergmite, Beartic, and Jinx. Sadly, I got swept by a trainer in here I accidentally ran into using a Sawk. Jeez. I'm literally trying my best here. Can we please not run into stupid trainers like this? Well, the next time I came through, I used the power of diagonal movement, avoiding the trainer and getting to the back of the chamber to help out the Abomasnow in distress, taking out a Team Flare Grunt as well as a Scientist. She only has a Houndoom, but it's able to KO my Beartic before I sent out Quagsire. Type Advantage can only go so far though, since 16 levels is a very considerable jump, but I managed to put it to sleep before barely not taking it out with Lucario, allowing it to KO my Klefki before I finally KO'd it with Mightyena. And with that, I get the Abomasite, which I will say right now will be immensely useful. You'll see why. Since it's almost time I get rid of Lucario, since it's starting to get way too underleveled to be worth keeping around, even as a Mega. But on Route 17, I can actually capture some great new Pokemon, such as Sneasel, and more importantly, an Abomasnow. Yeah, level 40 Mega is going to be a lot more helpful for these last 2 gym leaders rather than a level 32 Mega, especially since the Icicle Plate is right here on this route as well. Most of the plates have been scattered throughout, as well as other type-specific items like the magnet and poison barb, and I've been taking advantage of them, but not necessarily a whole bunch. Usually I'll just equip them when it's time for a battle that I'm struggling on. After getting those, I arrived in Anastar City in order to get my party assembled. I decided to go through my TMs and just taught a whole bunch of new stuff and sold a little bit of stuff, but nothing substantial to get me enough money for the TMs in this town, which are pretty powerful, like Blizzard, Fire Blast, and Thunder. Either way, this was in preparation not for just the gym leader, but yet another battle against Serena. She's finally added a new team member to her team, which is quite nice. She leads with Meowstic as I go with Bear Tick since I taught it Shadow Claw in preparation for this and the next gym. I go for it as she hits Fake Out and a Shadow Ball, where I did barely under half. I went for Icicle Crash afterwards, doing about the same before getting KO'd with Psychic, so I just went out into Sneasel so I could KO with Shadow Claw. Next out is Flareon, and I really don't have anything to take care of fire types at the current time, so I just switched for Jinx so that I could have a safe switch over to Quagsire. I needed to put the thing to sleep so I don't die immediately, and since she doesn't want to use a special move, I put the Rocky Helmet on so that her Flareon would damage itself if it used Quick Attack, which came in handy since it KO'd as Quagsire went down, leading to her going into Absol. I sent out Abomasnow since I figured now would be a good time for a Mega Evolution, going for Wood Hammer to barely not KO as I get hit with Quick Attack. I figured it would go for it again, so I just used Ice Shard, outspeeding to KO. Last out is Greninja, which barely doesn't KO thanks to Dark Pulse, allowing me to KO with Wood Hammer, knocking myself out with Recoil in the process, but I still won, so I don't care. That's literally my catchphrase. I still won, I don't care. I need to put that on a shirt. And with a few trainers in the gym out of the way, it's time to fight the second to last gym leader, Olympia. Crazily enough, I actually won on my first try this time, probably because she only has 3 Pokemon, which is very abysmal for a 7th gym leader. She starts with Sigilyph, as I start with Quagsire, getting off a Yawn before switching into Sneasel to take a Psychic since it's immune to it due to being Dark-type, allowing for it to go to sleep and allowing me to power up my attack with Power-Up Punch, doing minimal damage, but that's fine, since I just went for Beat Up, KOing one attack. Next out is Slowking, which also received the Beat Up treatment, going down in one shot, leaving just Meowstic. It too, even though it's level 48, couldn't flinch me with Fake Out due to having Inner Focus, and went down with 1 Beat Up. I didn't think Beat Up was going to be that good, but I'll take it, as well as taking the Psychic Badge. 7 down, 1 to go. And now it's time for the story to grab us by the scruff of our neck, as most Pokemon games do. After flying back to Lumiose City, I was able to take out 2 Team Flare Grunts, leading to a battle with Lysander. We'll actually be fighting him 3 times here, each harder than the last, so this first battle isn't too bad, even with the massive level difference we have. I lost the first time, mostly due to Pyroar, but the next battle was much better. He leads with Mienfoo, which sadly is a one-shot on Quagsire before I could get Yawn off, so I just went into Klefki to use Thunder Wave, since it has Prankster and allows it to go first with a status move, leaving to Mienfoo using Swords Dance. That's a bit worrisome for me, but I switch over to Beartic, and luckily he misses with High Jump Kick, allowing me to finish it off with Icicle Crash. Next out is Pyroar, so I went for Swagger, barely surviving a Fire Blast and allowing me to confuse it, and whittle it down. Somehow, Pyroar hits itself 3 times in a row, allowing me to hit it with Slash 2 times before it KO'd itself, leading to Gyarados. I switched out to Chatot to get a safe switch over to Klefki in order to hit Thunder Wave, going down to Earthquake before I sent out Beartic again. I wanted to get some Parafusion off, so after sending out Beartic I used Swagger, outspeeding and nailing it, and on the same turn it hit itself, allowing me to hit an Icicle Crash for the flinch, twice actually, allowing me to finish it with a 3rd Icicle Crash. Last out is Murkrow, which sadly outspeeds and KOs Beartic, so I sent out Abomasnow, Mega Evolving and going for Ice Shard so that I could outspeed, barely not KOing, but Murkrow doesn't KO, so I hit another one for the win. That was a good battle. I can only hope my next battle with him goes just as well. However, there's a few Scientist battles in the way, but none of them really have a team of more than 2 Pokemon, so none of them are really worth talking about, so let's just get to the second Lysander fight. After getting to Geosenge Town and getting to the hideout, the fight begins, and oh my god, I cannot begin to tell you how many attempts this took. I think I must have spent like almost 2 hours on this fight while I was streaming, since I streamed this whole thing here on YouTube. The stream ended up being 11 hours. 2 of them were on this fight. It was bad. But this made me go back and grab a Haunter, Floatzel, and Poliwhirl from the Frost Cavern, since I could use a Water Stone and get myself a Poliwrath in order to keep up with Lysander's Pyroar. And Haunter has the handy Destiny Bond, and when matched with Haunter's really good speed, it can usually just use it, get one shot, and take down an opponent with it. To be fair, I could just do this for the rest of the battles, grab xerneas and continue doing it until the Victory Road, where they're available again, and use higher level ones for the Elite Four, but I'm not petty. I'd rather at least have some semblance of a challenge in the endgame. Anyway, I EV trained Haunter and Poliwrath since I figured they would be the most useful in the battle, and I managed to win pretty easily with them. Lysander leads with Mienshao, having evolved since our last encounter. I led with Klefki so I could bait it into using High Jump Kick, sending in Haunter to hurt itself. I then went for Shadow Ball, KOing with a Quick Claw activation. Next out is Gyarados, and since I taught Thunderbolt to Haunter, I barely missed the KO with it, but I paralyzed with it before going down. I hesitated for a bit, deciding to go out into Beartic to finish it off with Slash, leading to Pyroar. I figured I could bait this out if I sent in an Ice type, so I went for Attract, but it one-shots me, so I go to Plan B. That involves paralyzing it with Klefki and going into Poliwrath with Rock Tomb in order to lower its speed and get enough paralysis activations off to KO. Sadly, it goes down just before Pyroar is down, so I send in Floatzel to go for Aqua Jet for the KO. Last out is Honchkrow, and I have Rock Tomb on Floatzel as well just for this. I missed with the first one, but the second one connects as he hits 2 Night Slashes for the KO. However, Floatzel had the Rocky Helmet on, so I got some residual damage off before going into Abomasnow. So I Mega Evolved and went for Ice Shard, hoping for the KO, and I got it. That wins me the fight, and there's only a few grunts in the way between me and xerneas. They're easy to take down, so I make sure to stock up on healing items before heading over here. And since I can use them outside of battle, that means I have a pretty easy time. And with that, it's time for the secret weapon to become mine. xerneas awakens from the ultimate weapon, allowing me to catch it with the Master Ball. And now it's time for round 3 with Lysander. Admittedly, he did kick my butt in round 2, so I think this will be an appropriate tiebreaker. He leads with Mienshao again as I go for Moonblast, KOing in one shot. Next out is Honchkrow, which does the same, leading to Pyroar. Pyroar's resistant to Fairy type attacks, so I switch into Beartic with him missing Fire Blast. Sadly though, he outspeeds as I go down, so I go into Klefki for the Thunder Wave. Fortunately, he's paralyzed, so I'm able to get off a Foul Play before I go down, switching into Haunter. And yes, his name is Ass. I thought that would be funny. It goes down immediately, so I just go into Poliwrath and go for Low Sweep in an attempt for KO, doing it within 2 attacks. Last out is Gyarados, and this time he actually uses the Mega Evolution. Sadly for him though, he locked himself into Outrage, a Dragon-type move that xerneas is immune to. And now it's part Dark-type. Whoopsie, I KO'd with 2 Moonblasts, winning me the fight on the first try. Yeah, gotta say that xerneas is definitely the key to winning this challenge. The weapon fires upon itself, killing Lysander and eliminating literally the worst team on the planet. Well, at least I wish it did. Also, the craziest part of this is actually apparently Kalos is a super big region if you look at the globe that the weapon fires up and back onto itself. It's weird because the routes feel super short, but in the context of the game they're long? I don't know. I don't care. Well, there isn't any important battles between here and the last gym leader, so I may as well skip over to Snowbell City and talk about that. I haven't grabbed a few new Pokemon on the way, so I would have a team of xerneas, Garbodor, Haunter, Trevenant, Bisharp, which oddly you can get through a trade with a Jigglypuff of all things, and Noctowl. I figured most of them won't be useful against an Ice-type leader, but chances are all I'll need is xerneas. So why did I even bother catching them? Fodder. I always like me some high-level fodder. Wulfric starts off with Abomasnow, which for some reason doesn't Mega Evolve. Seriously, Lysander just did it, you'd think the last gym leader would, but I digress. I went for Geomancy, but got frozen by Ice Beam after pulling it off. I just kept getting hit over and over again, but I had leftovers on xerneas until I thawed out, but I was in the red. Luckily, the hail subsided by that point, allowing me to slowly but surely gain back my HP. I KO Abomasnow and he goes into Cryogonal, which doesn't go down to a Moonblast, having massive special defense and using Confuse Ray. Luckily, I didn't hit myself for 2 turns in a row, getting him to waste 2 of his Hyper Potions before finally hitting myself, allowing Wulfric to set up Hail. I snapped out and KO'd that turn, but the Hail is undoing my leftovers with barely any HP left. Last out is Avalugg, which is a whopping level 59, but it's a one-shot with Moonblast, winning me the Iceberg badge. Yep, xerneas is good. Let's just say that. And with that, there's nothing left but a single route and Victory Road before the Elite Four. When I got there, I made sure to assemble a new party for taking on the League, getting a final team of xerneas, Lickitung, which I evolved into Licky Licky by using a heart scale to get back rollout, and using a rare candy on it, Poliwhirl, Fearow, Hydreigon, since yes, you can catch those in Victory Road, if you remember back in my X and Y Professor Oak's challenge, and Haunter. This Haunter is a new one, but it'll be quite useful. I made sure to EV train both Haunter and xerneas, leaving the rest of them since I won't really be needing anything else other than a few fringe tasks. So, I went in, and it's time for the last 5 trainers of the game. I started off with Seabold since he's a water-type user, and I put Hornleech on xerneas after getting it to level 55, with rare candies so that I'd be able to have something physical just in case I needed it. He leads with Clawitzer as I lead with xerneas, going immediately for Geomancy as he tries Water Pulse, hitting 2 of them before I'm able to follow up with a Hornleech for half so I could get some of my HP back, allowing him to get a third one before getting a little greedy and going for a second Geomancy. He gets a crit and gets me down to literally 9 HP, which was way too close for comfort, so I just swept his entire team with Moonblast. Gyarados is a one-shot, Barbaracle's a one-shot even though it's 10 levels above me, and Starmie's a one-shot. And I will question, though, why do these Elite Four members only have 4 Pokemon? They're the Elite Four because there's 4 trainers. They're not the Elite Four because they have 4 Pokemon. Oh well. Next up is Drasna, and I figured she'd be a good target since I know she's weak to Fairy. Sadly though, she leads with Dragalge, which is a part Poison type and a great counter to xerneas. So I lead with Haunter and just Destiny Bond it so it's out of the way. I sent in xerneas afterwards, sweeping with Moonblast, only setting up 1 Geomancy. Druddigon, Altaria, and Noivern all come crashing down, allowing me to move on to Wikstrom, the Steel-type user. Fairy is weak against Steel, though Geomancy can kind of help blast through it if I use 2 of them, since I only do half health of damage to Klefki with 1 Geomancy set up. Well, this is the reason I grabbed the TM for Flamethrower, so I put it on Hydreigon and I replaced Hornleech with Thunderbolt on xerneas. I probably went a wee bit overboard, but I also gave Focus Blast to Licky Licky in place of Screech, just in case. Wikstrom leads with a Klefki as I lead with Haunter, Destiny Bonding it as it takes me down with 2 Flash Cannons. Haunter's really not all that useful aside from doing that, so at least it works. Next out is Scizor, so I send in Hydreigon and go for Flamethrower to one-shot thanks to a quad weakness, allowing him to send in Aegislash. He's in defense mode, so I go for Flamethrower, only doing a hair over a third before he does massive damage to me in attack mode, allowing me to finish it off in the next attack thanks to the stance change. Last out is Probopass, which KOs Hydreigon. I went out into Poliwhirl and went for Wake Up Slap since Probopass is quad weak to fighting types, but I only hit 1 before going down. I sent out Licky Licky, landing a Focus Blast for the victory. I guess Focus Blast wasn't going overboard, that's good. And with that, we only have 1 more League member before the champion. I give Surf to Hydreigon before our next fight, since it's against Malva, a Fire-type user. Finally, a former Team Flare member that uses a full team of Fire types. It's about time. She leads with Pyroar as I go for Haunter, using Destiny Bond to take it down instantly. I sent out xerneas as she sent out Torkoal, so I could set up a Geomancy without taking any damage. So I figured I'd set up another one since why not? Especially when Fire types resist Fairy type attacks, taking down Torkoal in 1 Moonblast. Next out is Talonflame, so I went for Thunderbolt and KO'd it in 1 shot, leaving just Chandelure. I went for Moonblast, one-shotting and winning the battle. 1 more left, and that's Diantha. She's got Pokemon in the mid to late level 60s, so I'm gonna have a heck of a battle ahead of me. She leads with Hawlucha as I lead with Fearow, going for Drill Peck to nearly one-shot it, allowing for her to waste a full restore before I go down. I sent in Haunter to KO with Hex, living a critical Poison Jab. Next up is Tyrantrum, and I figured I'd kill it immediately using Destiny Bond as it hit Crunch. I sent out Xerneas as she sent out Auroras, so I went for Geomancy to allow her to set up Reflect and hit a massive Blizzard. I used another one, allowing her to set up a Light Screen, but she missed a Blizzard, so I went for a third one to max out my special attack, special defense, and speed. Blizzard barely did anything anymore, but even with Light Screen I still couldn't KO it in 1 shot, allowing her to nail a critical Blizzard, nearly KOing me before she healed and allowing the Light Screen to fade off. so I was able to KO with one shot of Moonblast after that. And with that, it's honestly already over. Gudra's a one-shot, Gourgeist is a one-shot, and even Gardevoir, even though it's a Mega Evolution, was also a one-shot with Moonblast. And with that, we've beaten Diantha, and proved that you can beat Pokemon X and Y without gaining any EXP. Honestly, I was surprised that it was as easy as it was, only being walled by Lysander's second battle right before Xerneas, and blasting through the entire game. Even if I didn't use Xerneas, like in an extra sub-rule, I would have just grabbed 6 Haunters and just Destiny Bond spammed my way through the rest of the game, leaving one to be EV trained and given all the rare candies in order to KO something on Diantha's team, since you can't just Destiny Bond everything or else it would be considered a tie and a loss for the player. Either way, this was a fun challenge, and you can actually try it yourself. The patch for the challenge is located in my Discord server, along with a tutorial on how to patch your own legal version of the ROM with the X-Delta patcher. Next challenge, though, is probably going to be my hardest to date. That's right, I'm taking on Pokemon Emerald Kaizo. However, I'll leave the specifics for you to find out next week. See you guys then. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was a really fun one to put together, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to join the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and consider becoming a member of the channel for $5 a month to get access to videos a day early, as well as access to a specific channel on Discord where I talk about my schedule of uploads, and other behind-the-scenes stuff. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.